New Mexico was born a state in the aftermath of the Wild West, and perhaps no one more famous came out of those lands than Billy the Kid. Come with us as Chris and I explore some of the places in New Mexico that codified his legacy and created a story of courage, heroism, and revenge that continues to be told 140 years after his death. In this video, we're on the trail of Billy the Kid. This is one of the most desolate roads we've ever been on in our life.
We find ourselves in these positions.
I know. So we're heading out to Fort Sumner, and we always end up doing these things right before the sun goes down. We're not seeing many cars. The road's a bit shaky. We still have an hour on this one-lane road. All right, so we made it to the Billy the Kid Museum here in Fort Sumner. Unfortunately, it's closed. That stinks, but we had a lot of problems getting here from Maryland and a lot of hiccups along the way, including the problem with the plane, so it kind of hung us up. But we're looking at everything right now. Can't go in, but we're going to head over to Billy's grave, which is open 24 hours a day. Well, hello guys. We finally made it with the sun going down. We're here at Fort Sumner, New Mexico, and we're at the Post Cemetery. This is the final resting place of none other than Billy the Kid, the most famous outlaw in the Old West. So let's go check out the cemetery and see what it holds for us. This is definitely the crown jewel, Prince of the Outlaws, Billy the Kid's grave. Buried with his best friends Tom O'Folliard and Charlie Baldry. All three men were killed by Pat Garrett at different times, but within the span of about a year. Of course, there's a token bullet here. Looks like a 9mm. Even Billy the Kid's headstone is clouded in controversy. Where did it come from? Who purchased it? Some say it was purchased with funds provided by actor Johnny Mac Brown, who played Billy the Kid in a movie of the same name from 1930. Others say his pallbearers pulled together their money. Still others claim it was the Fort Sumner Chamber of Commerce in an effort to capitalize on Billy the Kid's newfound fame. Well, like we always do, we like to take a little piece back, something that's not disruptive. So I found a stone here, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of touch Billy's grave. Let's see if I can do this without losing the stone. There we go.
After a heated discussion, Grandpa paid Billy $25 that he would kill a man first. Billy feigned false admiration for Grant's kindness to examine it. While doing so, Billy rotated the cylinder in an empty chamber. Billy and Grant eventually got in an argument, and as Billy turned to walk away, Grant tried to shoot Billy in the back, but all he heard was a click. Billy turned and drew, firing 3 shots, killing Grant instantly. It's pretty cool.
I'll be the first to admit that the story of Billy the Kid's death is clouded with mystery and controversy. Like any great story in American folklore, conspiracy theories abound. Was he really buried here, or did his body wash away years ago in a flood with so many others in this cemetery? Was his body moved a long time ago with other bodies to another cemetery? Did he live on as Brushy Bill Roberts or perhaps John Miller in Prescott, Arizona? We can get into the weeds with such questions, or we can suspend disbelief and for a brief moment in time enjoy a place where many do believe him to be buried.
Billy, what the hell are we gonna do now? We gotta show these guys that finally met their match. What? Hey, Pepin!
I'm hearing you, Barney.
I see you got Charlie Crawford down there with you.
Yeah, we got a whole lot. Oh, my God. Damn.
Hey, Pepin! Charlie Crawford ain't with you anymore.
Unfortunately, that's not how this incident happened. Crawford was not killed by Billy, and while this scene from Young Guns shows Doc Scurlock next to Billy, among Billy's closest companions, it was actually Doc and Charlie Baldry who were present during this shootout. Francisco Herrera, part of the regulators, was on top of the store when the Murphy-Dolan gang sent 5 men from this hillside in the back here, thinking that there was no one left in the store and that the defenders had fled. One man popped his head up and was shot immediately by one of the regulators named Francisco Herrera. So behind me stands one of Lincoln's earliest structures. It was built in the 1850s, and it was protecting Spanish Americans against the local Apaches that were here. And in Lincoln County, during the Lincoln County War, Murphy sharpshooters were stationed here. So it was actually used in 2 different conflicts. And here is the original Lincoln County Courthouse. This was a 3-room adobe, and it was the seat of law and justice when Lincoln County was established in 1869. So they did all kinds of things here. They issued warrants, there were trials for crime, both large and small. And it's now called the Priest's House. And it belongs to the church. So we found the marker where that treacherous slime, that Sheriff William Brady, was shot. Actually, I'm not here to cast aspersions, but anyway, this is where he was done in.
Top of the morning to you, girls.
Unfortunately, it didn't happen quite that way. On April 1st, 1878, regulators Jim French, Frank McNabb, John Middleton, Fred Waite, Henry Newton Brown, and Billy the Kid ambushed Sheriff Brady and 4 of his deputies on the main street of Lincoln as reprisal for Tunstall's murder. They fired on the 5 men from behind an adobe wall across the street near Tunstall's store. Brady, aged 48, died of at least a dozen gunshot wounds. So here we are in John Tunstall's bedroom. His bedroom was just adjacent in the room next to the store, the general store that he owned. And he was quite a powerful merchant. He had a lot of money, came from money. Started in British Columbia, I believe, moved to California in search of his fortune, couldn't find it there, and heard that New Mexico was the land to go. So he eventually ends up in Lincoln County. And over here, we have a nice little display of all the regulators with all their pictures. I think there were more than these guys, but these are probably the most notable ones. Behind the Tunstall store is buried John Tunstall, of course, and Alexander McSween, who was his lawyer. And after Tunstall was killed, McSween became kind of the de facto financier for the regulators. And the graves are very unremarkable, and you'll see what I mean. Take a look. So on the left we have John Tunstall, and on the right, Alex McSween.
Here's a spent cartridge for a 357.
Here you got a little story to tell me.
Do you remember the story that John Tunstall told us about the three Chinamen playing Fantan?
No, you'll have to remind me.
Guy runs up and says, "Hey, the world's gonna end." And the first man says, "Well, I shall go to the mission and pray." The second man says, "Well, hell, I'm gonna get me a case of mezcal and 6 whores." And the third man says, "I shall finish the game. I shall finish the game."
Well, if anyone's looking for ideas for my Christmas list, I'd really like the historic Dolan house here. James Dolan was one of the antagonists in the Lincoln County War and wanted to see Billy's head delivered to him on a plate. Let's see, what do we got here? Please take one. Why not? They're selling the property. Okay. Selling the property for a cool $685,000. So this is the site of the McSween house. It was a old adobe rebuilt into a 10-room house, apparently. This is where Pepin's posse came to fire upon him. And this would have been the area where the house was. No longer standing now.
We are currently in the courthouse in Lincoln County, New Mexico, where Billy the Kid was arrested and he was held and he was sentenced to be executed, to be hung. So as we make our way through these rooms, there was a deputy named Bell and then a deputy named Ollinger. Bob Ollinger was apparently across the street. But Billy the Kid had persuaded Bell to either take him to the bathroom or take him downstairs for one reason or another. The story goes like this. As they were heading back up... Deputy Bell. This is Bell, I'm Billy the Kid. As they were heading up the steps like this, follow me, follow me, follow me, they got into a bit of a wrestling match. And they started wrestling for the gun. Billy grabs the gun, turns and shoots him. Pop, pop.
Yoo-hoo, Bill. I'll make you famous. Don't do it, Bill. Bill, come on, don't do it. I ain't kidding. Bill! That was stupid, Bill.
As we're now upstairs, there's another wrinkle to the story, as there always is with multiple reports. So the idea that they rested on the stairs, which we talked about earlier, may have or may not have happened. You saw the bullet hole in the wall. Or at least he didn't die. The other thought was that, okay, maybe he shot him, and then the marker is down here, and that says where J.W. Bell may have died. Again, there's a lot of moving parts to the story. There's a lot of eyewitness accounts. People remember what they want to remember. So on the upper floor of where we are right now, you can see that this looks like what is a courthouse. This was also known as Pat Garrett's personal residence. So Pat Garrett slept here. He was not here at the time. Bell and Ollinger were watching him, and then we told you the rest.
So at the time Billy the Kid escaped from Deputy Bell, Bob Ollinger was taking other prisoners across the street to get a bite to eat at the local restaurant/hotel. It was in this window behind me, while Billy was wearing these shackles here, that he tried to get Bob Ollinger's attention. So he went into the armory, and what he eventually did was he took Bob Ollinger's shotgun. He came to this window behind me, and just to the left of me, or to the right of me, he fired out the window after getting Bob's attention, and Bob Ollinger responded, looked up, and died on the spot. Hey. Hey, Bob. Bob. Well, hello, folks. We're in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and we're standing at the family grave plot of Patrick Garrett.
Look, dude. All the family's buried here.
Yeah. And this is him right here. Well, it's been a ride. We finally made it here. We're in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and we're looking down at the different headstones here for the Garrett clan, and of course the most important is right here. It's Patrick Garrett. So Pat Garrett, of course, shot dead Billy the Kid, and he shot dead Tom O'Folliard and Charles Baldry. Garrett himself was killed near Las Cruces, not far from here. They assume it may have been in a deal gone bad with a cattle rancher putting a bunch of sheep on his land that he didn't want there. And so they were trying to negotiate a couple things, and Garrett was coming into Las Cruces from his ranch, and well, he got shot on the side of the road while he was relieving himself. And heck of a way to go, especially since he was shot in the back.
I don't know why we haven't done this before, but
Yeah.
do you want to
Go ahead.
put a penny on his grave?
Yeah. Hey guys, so there's one stop that I definitely suggest if you're in the mood for historic restaurants. It's La Posta de Macia. This was on the Butterfield Trail and hosted such personalities as Billy the Kid, Kit Carson. I even heard Pat Garrett and Pancho Villa were here. So we're going to go in and grab something to eat, and kind of excited for this one just because I've never been this far south in the Southwest and eaten this Tex-Mex food, so that's what we're doing. Perhaps what makes the Kid so interesting is that we may never know the truth, and so filling in the blanks with our own theories and details is part of the legacy-making experience, how we turn outlaws into folk heroes. It's a part of our American heritage, and a way of making ourselves part of the story that is uniquely ours to tell. Thanks for traveling with Trey. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time.